Hi everybody, this is Just So Sassy Andrea, and I am actually making my very first YouTube video that's going to be addressing the issue that I felt the need that I needed to address. Usually on my channel, and my channel is fairly kind of new, I like to post things that are fun, things that are non-political, nothing to do with the news or anything of that nature. But I had to address this Jussie Smollett situation. I feel like this is the appropriate time for me to make this video. I know it's been a lot of videos online about the Jussie Smollett situation, but I wanted to actually make sure that a lot of the evidence was in first, and I kind of knew when they put the grand jury together, I knew it was going to be a matter of time when they were going to be trying to press charges, unfortunately, against Jussie Smollett in regards to filing a false police report. Also, I'm the type of person, a lot of people tell me you got a legal mind, and I'm very legal minded, and so I'm just the type of person that like to wait until all the facts are in, because I have noticed that soon as something hits social media or the mass media, people run with it and they get to going, and then you find out, just like in this Jussie Smollett situation, people were like, oh, poor Jussie, you know, oh my God, how dare them, and all this other stuff, and then come to find out this stuff wasn't even nothing to get upset about. And that's what's, I think, upsetting to me, you know, as a person of color. And it's also, like a lot of people like Cardi B noted, you know, this is Black History Month. This should be a time for a lot of us as African Americans, young and old and middle-aged. We supposed to be reflecting. We supposed to be inspiring like the younger generation to look up people that came before them and that paved the way for them, as far as civil rights, and as far as just being entrepreneurs and being people that's always striving to do better for our race. And I just felt like with this situation, with the Jussie Smollett situation, I just wanted to add my 2 cents to all of this, because I'm hearing a lot of people saying, well, why did he do this? And I don't know why. Well, why would he do this? And I personally, me and my mom went back and forth with this. I personally felt it was 3 elements to this case. I just want to say that a lot of the stuff everybody already knows. The 2 Nigerian brothers, they're not white. They're actual friends or acquaintances of Jussie's, and they actually one of them worked on Empire with him, and they actually hung out, and he was being trained by one of the brothers. So I think the people that's still in denial, they just need to quit, because it's like he knew these 2 guys, and there is proof that he paid these 2 gentlemen to help, as they want to say, allegedly orchestrate a racial and homophobic attack on him. And according to Superintendent Eddie T. Johnson, in his press conference, I felt like he was pretty credible, and he was pretty upset, and he was very adamant about the fact of his disappointment in Jussie Smollett's behavior, just being an African American male, that you would actually allegedly fabricate a story to garner attention in order to secure or advance your career, or to secure more money for your appearance, or you being on the Empire show. And I just want to also add to this point that I feel like, I think he also wanted to stick it to the Fox network. What people got to realize is, if you strip the fact that he's an actor, and you strip away the fact that he's working on an Empire, the show, Yes, that's his job, but he kind of works for, I'm assuming the network that Empire is on, you still kind of overall is working for the Fox network. He had an issue. He had a really big issue, and he was trying to make a statement, and I feel that I can back that up, because when you actually look at his Good Morning America interview that he did with Diane Sawyer, he did with Robin Roberts, I just felt like, wow, he's mixing in political and the events that happened internally with his network, which was this letter that they're saying allegedly that he actually wrote, this racist, homophobic letter that was sent to the Empire studio where Empire was being filmed. And this letter contained the substance, which after they got I guess it investigated, turned out to be aspirin. But this letter did not garner the attention that he wanted, and apparently they're alleging that he actually had something to do with the manufacturing of the letter. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say, let's just say he didn't. Let's just say he didn't. Whatever the case is, this letter triggered a emotional reaction and response from Jussie Smollett in order to apparently get the letter out there to the mass media. He made that letter a part of his actual GMA interview with Robin Roberts. And it was a point in the interview where Robin Roberts stated, okay, do you feel like this letter, this racist letter that you received in the mail at your job, your place of employment, did that have a connection with this external issue of you being jumped on and beat up and, you know, injured, or you know, do you feel like there was a connection here? And I just felt like he kind of skipped over the question a little bit. He really didn't answer it directly. That was like a red flag to me, because I was like, first of all, the letter that was being presented looked like a letter, in my opinion, that looked like it was kind of thrown together. I'm no expert when it comes to crazy people and how they put their letters together and send it out to folks, but I just felt like it looked a little childish and a little, it just didn't look serious. It was serious to take serious, because of course anybody that receives something to the effect of threatening their life, you gotta take it serious. But I looked at it and I'm like, geez, you know, the news for the last year, you've been hearing a lot of crazy stuff, people walking into churches and synagogues and different places and shooting people and actually killing people, and you've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff on people's Instagram accounts that's connected to these killings and shootings, and usually, you know, it's, you know, people wearing you know, just the dress and the look of the person, and the stuff that they're talking about on their Instagram or their accounts. I felt like the letter didn't really fit the profile of what we've been seeing on the news and how people been carrying out these racist attacks against you know, certain particular groups in America. And I just felt like the profile of that letter that was showcased on GMA in that segment of the interview did not fit the profile, in my opinion. It just looked like it was something that was, somebody threw it together. And I just felt like, wow, this was an internal matter that now is made public. And I just said, I don't remember hearing about Empire receiving any of the cast members and anybody saying they was receiving any racist or any type of letters. if they were, obviously the company was keeping it internally. Apparently this particular letter in question was being analyzed. It was under investigation, but apparently, according to Superintendent Eddie Johnson, he stated that the Nigerian brothers had stated, well, Jussie was highly offended and upset that the network or the powers that be, I don't know if it was the Human Resources Department or what have you, whoever was responsible for this situation with the letter wasn't taking it serious, and it didn't garner the attention that he wanted or the response that he wanted for it. So he decided to allegedly orchestrate a racist and homophobic attack on himself with the help of the brothers, of the two Nigerian brothers. And so I was like, okay, you got a letter that was sent on the 22nd of January, and now you got an attack against the very person that the letter was sent to on the 29th. But the two differences is the letter was being handled internally and nobody knew about it, and the external situation was all over social media and all over the news. And then this letter that was an internal matter being handled by the network is now appearing in this GMA interview segment with Robin Roberts and with Jussie Smollett. And I just thought that was kind of odd, because I don't know how they do it in the Hollywood world, but I know in regular business land, when you have a grievance of a situation that's not being handled by your employer, your manager, or whoever, usually they want us to go through like a process, and you have to, state, hey, I don't agree with this, I'm gonna put this in writing, or I'm gonna go to like my union representative, or I'm gonna go to my human resources representative and say, hey, look, this situation, I don't feel it was handled correctly. And usually you got to go through a A, B, C, and D step. Now, if it gets to the point where the situation is so beyond your let's say your understanding of, okay, my life is being threatened here, and you all are not taking it serious, you're not even offering me any security or anything, and this is, then there's that point of, okay, do I get somebody legally to come in here, or EEOC this, or do I, but usually there's an arbitration agreement, usually between the employee and the company, where they say, well, any issues or things or grievances or anything that we can't deal with, or it gets past the point of the relationship between the employer and the employee, we agree to handle it through arbitration. So it seemed like I was a little shocked that this internal issue that nobody knew about was now being front and center, and also being made to connect with the external issue. And I just thought that was a little suspicious, because I'm like, Fox News released that information to a competing network to air in the interview segment with one of their stars or employees. It wasn't making no sense. And another thing that didn't make sense to me was, well, why didn't Fox News interview him? I would think if you're working for the network, that somebody from the network should have had said, hey, well, let's go interview Jussie Smollett and give him a little bit of a 5-minute window and say, hey, are you okay? Let everybody know you're fine. And I just thought it was weird that he was on a competing network, but they do things probably differently. He's probably considered more so, he's a contractual employee versus somebody that's hourly or salary. status. So with that being said, I just feel like there unfortunately may be some legal grounds there that Fox may exercise the right to say, hey, you had took an internal issue that we were dealing with and we were handling. Granted, it may not have been the way that you wanted us to handle it, but there were steps that you should have had took with us first before you even. I'm like, did he even ask for permission to allow footage of that letter to be on the GMA interview? I just thought it was a little, legally speaking, I was like, okay, because it's nothing wrong, in my opinion, of talking about the issue that happened to you externally. You could have probably mentioned, hey, we had got a weird letter, the week before my incident, and the job is working on it. They're, the network has it and they're working on it and they're dealing with it. And I mean, CNN got threatening letters and they had to clear out everybody from the building, and they were working on, they was investigating, they let the police do their thing to disarm the bomb or whatever the case may be before, and then they allowed for, I guess, the pictures of the letter with the bomb to be aired on their network and so forth. So I just thought it was odd that the letter wasn't aired on Fox. But I don't know. Like I said, it just seemed like an internal issue between employee and company got made, or part of the external issue, and it got all on mass media. So in a sense, the letter did get the attention that he wanted at that point. So my thing is this, the situation is serious. I don't have no doubt, based on what the superintendent Eddie Johnson stated in the press conference this morning, also followed up with the prosecutor. I just got through watching a prosecutor lay out the facts, and this is why I wanted to wait before I made this YouTube video, because I already knew it was more information coming out. I knew they were sitting on information, sitting on video footage, because I was like, I even said it, I said to my mother, I said, you know what, the beauty salon should have video cameras. And lo and behold, they came out with a video with the beauty salon and them there purchasing items in a red hat and so forth. And I said, okay, so that right there had let me know that my thinking, I was on the right path of the thinking, because I was like, okay, they really got him. And then he paid with a check, which, coming from the finance and banking world, they can trace a check, the check number and your checkbook and the checks and everything, so they can say these are your checks and this lines up with the fact that they made a deposit into their account. So the police got that covered, and they also admitted that they said they done spoke to over 100 witnesses, because people can't keep their mouth shut. That's the one thing I can honestly say is, if you're gonna do something dirty or you're gonna do something shady, he was better off hiring people he didn't know to had, excuse my friend, whooped his ass. Because you hiring friends and you've been sitting up, these are the same people you have been sitting up complaining about your job, probably complaining about your co-workers too, about your co-workers that you work with. These people, probably, the two brothers probably know so much information about his personal life. He probably know information about Lee Daniels' personal life, because think about it, they already, the two brothers already kind of told a lot of information that Jussie, that's why Jussie has not wanted to talk with the police, because if they were able to pull up a DUI from 10 something years ago and they had said, hey, we already got it on record that he lied to the police, then they're digging in your past. They're digging in your past. And don't be surprised, Jussie, if you might have an ex-boyfriend or somebody that'll come forward and spill their guts about some secret stuff that they know about you. I think you pissed off the Chicago PD, and you pissed off pretty much a lot of African Americans, because just looking at the YouTube videos, ain't nobody buying the story and ain't nobody feeling you. And I just feel like the brothers and the sisters don't, I know they was like, oh, they're going to Journey's Instagram and his sister Instagram, and they're leaving all types of messages and stuff on her. It's like the sisters and the brothers are gonna, obviously they're gonna defend him. You can't fault his family for that. The thing that you can fault the family for is the fact that ain't nobody ran they ass down to Chicago and pulled him to the side and told him, look, you need to stop this. This is getting way out of hand. You mucked up, and you need to have accountability for what you're gonna have to apologize to the public. You're gonna have to pay the dues for the time that the Chicago police basically wasted on this case, and you're going to have to apologize to Lee Daniels and the whole cast of Empire, and you're gonna have to apologize to the network. And the issue that I'm having is the fact that if this is true, allegedly, this was all over money, and you don't disrespect the people that have fought and died for you to even to be in a position. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know how much money he makes a month. I was hearing $20,000-$25,000 a month. A lot of people don't even make that in a year, or they barely make that in a year. And you're making $20,000 to $25,000 a month. And I can understand the need of wanting to have a higher profile so you can sell more tickets at your concerts, or you want your CD to be successful because your CD is about to be coming out March 2nd. But once again, so you're gonna sell out your people that came before you, that dealt with the lynching and the raping and the brutality, beatings, being murdered. So you attached yourself to that, and then you was trying to it's distasteful, and it doesn't make me as a consumer, or even as an African American, I can't support that. I'm sorry, I can't support that. And I feel like if you're still on the Empire show, I can't support that either, because it's like, why would I want to watch a show that has somebody that's making money off of the fact that he gave a complete disregard and a complete lack of respect to black people that were actually brutalized? And I just can't understand that, and I can't support that, and I can't get with that. I personally think Fox Network got grounds to terminate him for the simple fact he had let out an internal matter. Regardless how it was being handled, there's attorneys, there's the EOC, there's a lot of things, avenues that you could have taken, and I wished you would have had taken instead of this avenue, because this avenue is making you look really crazy. It makes you look unstable. Just from what I was told about your DUI, you had lied on the fact that you tried to make it seem like it wasn't you, it was your brother. So that right there lets me know you willing to lie on a family member, then these two brothers ain't nothing to you to lie on. So that's scary, and that's showing a behavioral pattern that needs to be looked into a little closely. And I think somebody, I don't care if it's Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah, somebody need to pull you to the side and say, look, listen, it's gonna hurt, all of this is gonna hurt, but come clean and just apologize. The one thing about the black community, I can say what I love about being African American and black, we go through a lot of stuff, and we have had a lot of stuff done to us, but we are a forgiving people, and we are a people of prayer, and we are a people of faith. And sometimes when you do something and you mess up, the best thing to do is just to say, look, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm gonna accept responsibility for this, and I just hope that you all sincerely accept my apology. I think that's what the crisis manager at this point, get some help. I think Jussie needs to go into like maybe a psych facility, had him run, kind of evaluate him, run some tests. He may be bipolar. He may have had a manic moment that escalated into these manic episodes because the behavior was just so extreme. His reaction or his way of problem solving and coping with the fact of him being, I want to say, a disgruntled employee over pay. I hate to put it that way, but it's like that's what it's coming across, and that's what they're saying. That was just not the proper coping mechanisms or the problem solving. You need to address what's going on up in here, because that just was not the proper logical, rational way to have handled this situation. And you're not credible anymore. Nobody believes you. And yes, I agree, it was a lot of stuff being leaked, and I was like, okay, somebody's tricking off and leaking this stuff. And I know the superintendent, Eddie Johnson, was trying to say, well, the police didn't leak, we didn't leak anything. I ain't buying the Chicago police. I'm not buying it. But you gotta also remember too, the tape that they showed with the guys, the two Nigerian brothers in the beauty salon. Who's to say TMZ or somebody didn't go to the shop and say, we will give you $10,000 if we can get this video footage from you. Same can be said about the fact of going to anybody else that had footage or had proof. That's another way stuff can be leaked out. I'm just saying, I just think that I feel like the Fox Network has grounds for termination of the contract, and I think Lee Daniels and the cast and the crew, they can still support you, but they're gonna have to let you go as far as your character on Empire, because I will always say the best way Lee Daniels could probably do this or salvage this character, if he doesn't want to kill the character off, do what they did in, I believe it was season 2 or season 1 of the ending of Dynasty. Stephen Carrington was blown up in a oil rig accident, and he was severely disfigured and burnt, where they had to wrap his face up with gauze, and he was laying there in the bed with the gauze all wrapped around him. And by the time season 2 came around, Steven had to have reconstructive surgery, and he was a completely different actor that was playing Stephen Carrington. So I think that if you all want to salvage the character, the Jamal character, I think that's the best way to go. That's possibly if the network renews you all for season 6. I hope the best for Lee Daniels, because I thought this Empire was pretty good. I was watching the show, but like I said, I'm not going to support a show, and I'll give him the benefit of that if he's found guilty, but I think it's pretty clear, the evidence is pretty clear, and it's pretty stacked against him. I'm not supporting a show that's going to have somebody that's using deceased African Americans that were actually brutally lynched, raped, beat, killed to advance his career. I can't support it, and I can't even stomach it. So with that being said, thank you all for taking the time to watch. I know it's about running 30 minutes, but I think a lot of the other videos was running pretty long. But I hope some of the stuff that I expressed, I may make a second video, I don't know. I feel like some of the points, some other points I wanted to make, but you know what, I think I said pretty much the gist of what I wanted to say. Please subscribe if you like my video, and give it a thumbs up. And like I said, I just have to keep it real. He owes a lot of people, and like I said, his family, Lee Daniels, Empire, the Chicago Police Department, he owes Chicago overall, he owes his fans, and he owes the network, and I'm gonna throw this in, the mega supporters. Not all of them are crazy, not all of them are. People have a right to support who they want to support, whether you like it or not. I mean, that's the whole thing about being in America. You have rights to support who you want to support. Obviously, I don't agree with the extremists on any side, Republican, Democrat, or any side that's using violence or want to use situations like creating and manufacturing lies. I don't support that. But people have a right to support who they want to support, and to generalize the whole mega supporters as racist, we can't. I'm not going to do that, because I don't like, as a African American person, to be generalized or stereotyped. So with that being said, thank you and have a nice day.